If you mess around with music gear long enough, sooner or later, you're going to hear about MIDI, which I'm going to try to demystify in this video. MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface, but really it's just a way for different pieces of music equipment to talk to each other. So getting all your pedals to sync to the same tempo, or switching presets in between songs, or using your guitar to play a synthesizer, all of those are things you can do using MIDI. Now, if you play keyboard, you might already know some of this because most of today's keyboards can also be used as MIDI controllers. If you're a guitarist, you might be thinking, why do I need to know any of this? But in this video, I'm going to show you 5 things you can do with MIDI that I think are useful and also creatively interesting, starting with the basics and getting increasingly advanced. For starters, let's go over the basics. MIDI by itself is not audio. You can't listen to MIDI alone, but you can listen to stuff that was made with MIDI. It's a little like an expression pedal. If you've ever used an expression pedal to control one of your other pedals, the expression pedal is not the part of that that's making the sound, but you can use it to control the thing that's making the sound. MIDI is sort of like an expression pedal, except that it's digital, and you can do things that are a lot more elaborate than what an expression pedal can do. So for pro tip number 1, I want to talk about the simplest useful thing you can do with MIDI and guitar pedals, which in my opinion is to use MIDI clock. MIDI clock is just a global tempo that you can sync all your stuff to. There's a good chance that whatever recording software you're using, Ableton, Pro Tools, Logic, whatever, can send out its tempo as MIDI clock information, and then all your pedals can just lock onto that. My favorite example for this is the Boss Slicer. This has a jack in the back called MIDI in. You just run a MIDI cable from this to the computer and it'll automatically detect the tempo and then sync to the tempo. This is especially useful because the slicer is so in your face and choppy. There are some rhythmic effects like a old-fashioned tremolo that's doing more of a harmonic or vibed out tremolo kind of thing. Those can sound good if they're off the grid, but something that is as rhythmically exact as the slicer, in my opinion, it cries out to be right on the tempo of your song. And MIDI clock is an easy, painless way to make that happen. So for the example you're about to hear, I was playing the Boss Slicer. I had the mix on 100%, nothing to be afraid of because the tempo was locked using MIDI clock. For pro tip number 2, if you want to use synthesizers, but you're not good at playing keyboard, you can play synthesizers with a guitar if your synthesizer is MIDI compatible and you have a way to convert your guitar playing into MIDI note information. Now, guitar to MIDI is intense. There's complicated ways to do it. You can buy a MIDI guitar, you can buy a MIDI guitar pickup, but there's also an easy way to do it, which is to use the Ghost Rider pedal from Recovery Effects. This is a pedal that will just convert your guitar playing into MIDI. So you plug your guitar into it, and then you plug it into the MIDI port on your synthesizer, and you can play the synthesizer by playing guitar. The thing is that it is monophonic. It only wants one note at a time. But in my opinion, this is where the fun begins. Because if you really embrace that, especially as a guitar player, you can produce results that a keyboardist would never be able to get. It's times like this where the fact that on guitar you can play the same pitch on different strings and different positions becomes valuable because, well, you'll see in a second. The synthesizer I'm using in this example is the Vongon Replay. I have my guitar hooked up to the Ghostwriter. The Ghostwriter is hooked up to this. So I'm playing the synthesizer, but I'm not playing the keys. I'm playing guitar. And even though I can play one note at a time, the Vongon Replay can do this thing where each time you play one note, it actually triggers a chord. I think it's called chord mode. So I have that going. So anytime I play one note on the Vongon Replay synth, it triggers a major triad from that note. But if it gets the note from the Ghostwriter, it's the same thing. So by playing guitar, I'm triggering all these major triads, and then I start playing the same note on different strings and sliding into it. And the way the Ghostwriter interprets that, and then the way the Vongon Replay interprets what it's getting from the Ghostwriter, in my opinion, is a jackpot. By the way, I got the Ghostwriter pedal from Perfect Circuit. I'd like to thank them for helping me make the video. If you'd like to buy the Ghostwriter or any of the gear in this video, I have affiliate links with Perfect Circuit you can use that'll give me a small commission on anything you buy. I'll put the affiliate links in the video description. Money! For pro tip number 3, you can write a MIDI part without having to perform it on any instrument if you want to. Most recording software has a place you can go called the MIDI note editor or the piano roll editor or something like that, where you can write out a whole part and then have that part played by one of the computer's own MIDI synthesizers that's already in there, or you can send it out of the computer and use a hardware synth to do it. I have a whole separate video where I talk about this process a little bit more in detail called Recording Software, How to Be Advanced. But for this one, I just wrote a bass part and then sent it to my OP1 synthesizer. I'm not going to say the part I wrote was unplayable by anybody, but it's a bass part that would have been hard for me to play on keyboard or on a bass guitar. But that's the fun of doing it this way. You can write interval jumps or note durations or subdivisions that would be very hard to execute and just let the MIDI take care of it. Now, in the example you're about to hear, I tried to make a screen recording of the MIDI information going by in real time, but after my first attempt, I noticed that it was corrupted and it looked glitchy and fucked up, and I thought that was cool, so I didn't do it again. Pro tip number 4 is going to be the beginning of what I consider advanced stuff with MIDI. For this one, we're going to use the brand new Rosetones pedal from Vongon. This just came out today. It's like a very resonant reverb. But reverb is probably like the wrong word for what it is. This is a pedal that can just take whatever you're playing and resonate certain frequencies within that to like a very exaggerated degree. So here's what I did. First, I just set up a loop of myself playing the Echo Fix Spring Reverb. I was just playing this and I recorded that. It sounded like this. Now let's be real, that sounded cool by itself. That could have been its own thing, which just goes to show how much I love the Spring Reverb from Echo Fix. But I made a loop of that and sent it into this pedal. But here's the thing, this pedal can also take MIDI. So if you're feeding it one thing, like my Spring Reverb noise, if you're feeding it that, you can then use a MIDI controller, like any keyboard that is just a MIDI keyboard. And if you push a note on the MIDI keyboard, you'll force this pedal to find that note within the frequencies of whatever it's getting. So while it was dealing with the Spring Reverb stuff, I was playing something on a MIDI keyboard and forcing it to coax those notes out of the Spring Reverb thing. And the result is really cool. For pro tip number 5, I'm going to show you something I built using MIDI and Max MSP. Max MSP is like a object-based programming language for music. I had to learn it in college. And I built this thing that's like a chord sequencer that will randomly instantiate any chord progression you give it. So you tell it, I want you to play these chords in this order for this duration, but then it will randomly determine how to voice each one of those chords. And the result is like a very jittery, very glitchy interpretation of your chord progression. In the example you're about to hear, the sound is coming from the Vongon Replay synth. I'm using this for the sound. It's just being controlled, and the notes are all being chosen by the program I made. If you're into this and you want it, I'll give it away to my YouTube members and my Patreon people. There'll be a link in the video description. Feel free to join my Patreon for 1 month, get it, and then leave forever. In the meantime, this is what it sounds like.